Coulson, the death that formed the Avengers. In the Avengers, Earth faces its first full-scale alien invasion. Loki is captured and brought aboard the S.H.I.E.L.D. helicarrier, but the Avengers are still divided, questioning each other and operating without unity. Loki escapes containment. During the chaos, Coulson confronts him inside the helicarrier. Coulson attempts to stop Loki using the experimental Phase 2 weapon, but Loki overpowers him. Loki stabs Coulson through the chest. As the helicarrier descends into crisis, Coulson dies from his injuries. Nick Fury uses Coulson's death as a turning point. He makes sure the Avengers understand that their internal conflict allowed Loki to strike. From this moment, the Avengers' behavior changes. This directly leads to their coordination during the Battle of New York. Coulson's death is the event that transforms the Avengers from separate individuals into a unified team. Quicksilver. When Ultron launches a massive assault, placing civilians and Avengers in direct danger, Clint Barton and a child are exposed and unable to escape. Pietro Maximoff reacts immediately. He uses his super speed to shield them, placing himself in the line of fire. Despite his speed, Pietro is struck multiple times. He collapses and dies on the battlefield. His death has immediate consequences. For Wanda Maximoff, losing her twin brother is devastating. The trauma triggers her rage, and she unleashes her full power on Ultron, destroying his primary body. But Pietro's death also deeply affects Clint Barton. Clint survives because Pietro took the bullets meant for him. The guilt of that sacrifice stays with him. After Sokovia, Clint steps away from frontline battles to protect his family. This is why he is not present during Infinity War. Odin, the death that unleashed Ragnarok. In Thor: Ragnarok, Odin's strength is fading. After centuries of ruling Asgard and protecting the Nine Realms, he can no longer hold back the consequences of his past. Odin reunites with Thor and Loki on Earth, fully aware that his end is near. Before dying, he reveals the truth he had hidden for years. He once conquered realms through violence. The moment Odin dies, the seal containing Hela breaks, and Hela is released without restriction. She immediately overpowers Thor and Loki, destroys Mjolnir, and claims Asgard as her own. Odin's death triggers a chain reaction. With Odin gone, Thor is forced to lead without guidance. He learns that his power never came from the hammer, but from himself. By the end of Ragnarok, Thor emerges changed, hardened by loss, responsibility, and failure. Odin's death is not just the end of Asgard's ruler. It is the beginning of Thor's preparation for Infinity War, the Ancient One. In Doctor Strange, the Ancient One is the central figure maintaining balance between dimensions. For centuries, she protects Earth from mystical threats, controlling powerful magic and overseeing the Time Stone. During the battle against Caecilius in Hong Kong, the Ancient One is mortally wounded. She is struck and thrown from a building, suffering fatal injuries. Knowing she is dying, she chooses not to heal herself. Instead, she spends her final moments guiding Stephen Strange. She explains that the future must move forward without her. Moments later, the Ancient One dies. Her death causes an immediate shift. Stephen Strange becomes Earth's primary mystical defender. Control of the Time Stone passes to him. The responsibility of protecting reality changes hands. Her death is also necessary for the larger MCU narrative. The Ancient One is one of the most powerful characters in the MCU. If she had lived, Thanos would not have been able to operate freely on Earth. Removing her from the story prevents an imbalance of power and allows future conflicts to exist. Her death ensures that the battle against Thanos is possible. Loki. Loki's death is one of the most important deaths in the MCU. It happens at the beginning of Avengers: Infinity War, when Thanos boards the Asgardian refugee ship. The Asgardians are already defeated, and Thanos already holds the Power Stone. Loki attempts to negotiate. He gives Thanos the Tesseract in exchange for Thor's life. Then Loki makes one final attempt to kill Thanos, using deception one last time. Thanos stops him instantly and snaps his neck in front of Thor. Loki dies on the spot. There is no illusion, no trick, no escape. This moment establishes the stakes of Infinity War. Thanos cannot be outplayed. Loki's death becomes the emotional trigger for Thor's revenge. This loss pushes him to seek power beyond anything he has. By the time Thor enters the battle in Wakanda, he is stronger, more focused, and more dangerous than ever before. His death also has a second, deeper consequence. In the Loki series, the variant Loki is forced to watch this exact moment, his own death at the hands of Thanos. Seeing his future ends his desire for meaningless conquest and survival through lies. For the first time, Loki understands where his path leads. This realization changes him. By seeing his death, Loki evolves beyond a god of mischief and becomes the ruler of time itself. Vision. In Avengers: Infinity War, Vision becomes the primary target. Every move the Avengers make is designed to protect him or remove the stone. When escape is no longer possible, Vision reaches the conclusion that the Mind Stone must be destroyed, even if it costs his life. Wanda destroys the Mind Stone, killing Vision and temporarily stopping Thanos. Seconds later, Thanos uses the Time Stone to reverse time. Vision is brought back only for Thanos to tear the Mind Stone from his forehead. This moment allows Thanos to complete the Infinity Gauntlet and perform the snap, wiping out half of all life in the universe. Secondly, Wanda Maximoff loses the person she loves twice in the same moment. That trauma breaks her emotionally and mentally. This loss directly leads to her obsession with rewriting reality, her transformation into the Scarlet Witch. By Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, Wanda is no longer just a hero. She becomes a villain, Gamora. When Thanos kills Gamora to obtain the Soul Stone, it is the first time he shows genuine emotional pain. His reaction makes it clear that the sacrifice is real and that he is not acting without feeling. On Vormir, Red Skull reveals the condition of the Soul Stone.
The price. Soul holds a special place among the Infinity Stones.
Gamora understands the rule immediately and realizes that Thanos' love for her is the price. Thanos throws Gamora from the cliff. Gamora dies, and the Soul Stone is granted. Later, on Titan, during the fight against Thanos, the heroes are seconds away from removing the Infinity Gauntlet. Quill's emotional outburst wakes Thanos and stops the plan. From that moment forward, the heroes lose their advantage. Thanos escapes, reaches Wakanda, completes the Infinity Gauntlet, and performs the snap. Black Widow. In Avengers: Endgame, the Avengers travel to Vormir to retrieve the Soul Stone. Natasha and Clint Barton are the ones sent. Red Skull explains the rule clearly. To take the Soul Stone, one must give up someone they love. Only one of them can return. Clint makes a desperate attempt to jump, but Natasha stops him. Moments later, she makes the final decision. Natasha lets go and falls from the cliff. She dies, and the Soul Stone appears. Her sacrifice is critical because, without the Soul Stone, the Avengers cannot undo the snap. Natasha's death also permanently affects Clint Barton. He returns with the stone, but without her, carrying the guilt of surviving. Thanos. After Infinity War, the Avengers locate Thanos and discover he has already destroyed the Infinity Stones. Thor kills him, but the snap remains irreversible. Years later, during the time heist, a past version of Thanos gains access to Nebula's memories. Through her, Thanos witnesses his own future. This knowledge changes everything. Instead of wiping out half of all life, Thanos alters his goal. He decides the universe must be completely destroyed and rebuilt from scratch, free of anyone who remembers the old one. With this new plan, Thanos launches a full-scale attack on the Avengers, bringing his entire army into the future. This is no longer a mission of balance. It becomes total annihilation. Iron Man. From the moment Tony Stark becomes Iron Man, Tony is defined by responsibility and guilt. The Battle of New York, the creation of Ultron, and the failure of the Avengers all shape his fear of losing everything. In Avengers: Endgame, Tony initially refuses to help with time travel, knowing the cost could be his family. But when the possibility of undoing the snap becomes real, he returns. During the final battle, Thanos gains control of the Infinity Stones once again. The Avengers are seconds away from losing everything. Tony sees the only remaining option. He takes the stones from Thanos and snaps.
Iron Man.
Thanos and his army are erased. The energy of the stones is too much for a human body, even with the armor. Tony collapses and dies, surrounded by the people he fought beside. Tony Stark's death achieves what no one else could. It ends Thanos permanently. It saves the entire universe.